This is Gemini Brett, the astrolonaut of morethan.astrology.com, with a look at the 2013 Grand Sextile. How does this rare planetary alignment speak to the unfoldment of our collective conscious evolution, the fabric of the universe, the great mysteries of today and times long ago, and how might it suggest we can contribute on an individual level to the dawning of the new age of Aquarius? Well, get your spacesuits on and join me for a trip into the unknown. This is an astrological chart. That's my birth chart. And this one's yours. Just kidding. Take a look at the different geometries in the center circles of these various charts. Those lines are the astrological aspects. They represent the significant angular alignments of the planets at the time of the chart. Now, no two birth charts are the same. Your chart is your celestial fingerprint. It tells the tale of your soul path and recommends a roadmap to unlock the potential of your spiritual awakening. Now take a look at the geometry in this chart. This is the Grand Sextile of July 29th, 2013. This is a ridiculously rare astrological alignment. We're talking about 7 major planetary players forming a nearly perfect sacred geometrical star tetrahedron around the Earth. I'm calling it the Stargate to the Sacred Feminine, and I believe it's here to plant the seeds that will allow us to change everything. Let me set some groundwork to explain why. Gurdjieff's Beelzebub book described the human as a 3-brained being: mind brain, thinking, heart brain, emotions, and body brain, the senses. Now, these 3 brains aren't often aligned. Think about driving a car. Your body does the driving, while your mind thinks about the many tasks you have to perform, and your heart is busy celebrating that joyful reading you just received from your favorite astrologer. What happens if we do line our 3 brains up? Well, I feel that's what allows us to access the higher mind, our higher self, the brain of spirit, if you will. And then we become what the great philosopher Alan Watts called HOLEY, with a W. Most astrological paradigms represent these 4 brains with the 4 elements: water, emotions, the feminine right brain; earth, body, senses, the feminine left brain; air, the thinking mind, the masculine left brain; and fire, intuition, spirit, the masculine right brain. Now, I'm not talking about boys and girls here. All of these monkey suits we incarnate are made of male sperm and female eggs. Yes, we all have our masculine and feminine halves. And this diagram is probably better shown this way because the feminine energy, the earth and the water, this is involution, down and in, while the masculine energy, the air and the fire, is evolution, up and out, both equally important. And this diagram also shows everything upside down, just like our earth right now. Why? Maybe because of this guy. Get hip to the patriarchy, Jack. Is there anyone that doesn't want us whole, that doesn't want us aligned and balanced? Yeah, that guy. Why? Because he knows when we become whole, he loses his control. And what has he done to the fire? Have his scholastic sciences not trained us to believe spirit is nonsense? Well, if you've made it this far in my show, you clearly know this is a journey of the soul. But we've got to talk about the holes. We are trained not to express our deepest emotions, our passions, and our desires, trained to have a hole where the heart should be, send that energy to further divide the mind and further diminish the fire. And what about the earth and the body? Are we taught to dance and sing the songs of the plants? Are we encouraged to express the feminine, loving romance? Are we connected to nature? Or is there another hole? That energy also being sent to further divide the mind and diminish spirit. We are left wholly, not with a W, but with an H and an E. We are full of holes. In fact, we are trained to be holy airheads. But we're changing that now, aren't we? And maybe this seal will help us feel and heal. We find pyramids and triangles and stars all over the world and all throughout the spiritual traditions and mysteries, even in some traditions that are not so spiritual. When the alchemical symbols of feminine earth, masculine air, feminine water, and masculine fire are combined, the result is the unity and the balance of the Seal of Solomon, also called the Star of David. The chalice is the ancient symbol for our feminine half. Astrologically speaking, this is a grand trine. A trine is a 120-degree aspect between planets that symbolizes a harmonious, constructive relationship between the two. When one planet trines a second, and that second planet trines a third, then the third planet must trine the first. This is a grand trine. There is currently a grand water trine between the planets Saturn in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces, and Jupiter in Cancer, the three water signs. Jupiter is the planet of opportunity. It brings conscious expansion. Cancer is the sign of the nurturer, so Jupiter in Cancer brings expansion to the nurturing principle. But last time this happened, and we'll get back to that. Neptune is at home in Pisces, the sign that it rules. Both represent the highest spirituality, dreaming and visions. They represent empathy and healing. Neptune has a 165-year orbit, so not all humans incarnate at a time when this planet and sign combine to give us healing energy and spiritual expansion. Now this is the vertex of the trine where the action is going down. Many astrologers will tell you that Saturn, which represents the rules and structure, is not at all happy in the sign of Scorpio, which cares little for rules and structure. They will tell you that this is going to be a hard time. I beg to differ. I think Saturn is giving us an opportunity to rewrite the rules that have limited us from the Scorpio archetype. What is Scorpio? The mysteries of the scorpion, the snake who sheds her skin, the phoenix who rises from her ashes again and again, the deep emotional powers of transformation, the witch and the shaman, those with no fear of the underworld initiation, no fear of death. Understanding death is simply the precursor to rebirth, the powers of transformation, the ability to reincarnate again and again within the single incarnation, not fearing the descent into the depths of the deep, damp rabbit hole, knowing there might just be a juicy carrot to bring back. But the snake was chased out of town by Saint Pat. The big book says snake was beast in tree, deceiving Eve to taste of its forbidden fruit and convince naive husband to do the same. But buried books have crept through churches' cracks via Qumran caves and Nag Hammadi clay to describe a different snake, Sophia, Earth herself, who took the form of serpent to breathe spirit into the human. Well, who wouldn't want us to know about her? Get hip to the patriarchy, Jack. He burned the witches at the stake. He called the shamans fake and chased them out of town. The secrets of the scorpion were forced underground. So secretive, yes, but they say she's conniving. Is the hibernating bear a liar, or is it simply lying, waiting for a warmer day to awaken? Saturn in Scorpio says it's time to stop faking. How long will we continue to hide the shadowy parts of self in unseen caves of unconscious mind?
They say it's all about the light and the love and the bubblegum drop. Teletubby hogs, unicorns, Easter bunnies, Care Bears, right? You only lose yourself in the fear and the fright.
And yes, it is indeed true that negative consciousness breeds negative consciousness. So we must have a full heart when we tunnel, or we could get flushed down the hole or pinched in the funnel. But isn't there a greater mistake in not facing fear? What do we lose when we choose to ignore the elephant in the room? What do we lose when we choose to hit snooze? What do we give to those who are lying when we choose to ignore truth too terrifying? The fear and the fright is not love and light, so we give our consent to abolish our rights. All right, enough with the rhyming. What does this have to do with us becoming holy? Ancient Hermetic wisdom says, as above, so below. As within, so without. Could this mean the terrors in the external world are here to reflect our inner turmoil? Saturn in Scorpio is asking us to take a look at our inside 9/11s. What traumas and regrets have we hidden from because they're so terrifying? In burying those deep emotions, have we not given our consent to them to reign over us from some unseen throne? Well, it's time to take our rights back. Even the darkest experiences bring us opportunity for soul growth and awakening. This is a time of deep inner alchemy. Traumas and regrets we thought we had purged are returning wearing new masks, begging us to take ownership over even the darkest experiences of our lives and to honor them as the catalyst to soul growth they brought. We turn our lead into gold, our poison into medicine, by integrating our behaviors rather than trying to graduate from them. Instead of serving hidden emotions to control us, we can unbury them and control our emotions to serve us. Becoming holy requires us to honor all of ourselves, light and shadow. Living in the heart requires us to feel all of our emotions. Our shadow just wants to be loved. And as we love ourselves, we love the world. Because as within, so without. As we honor ourselves, we honor the world. As we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Jupiter in Cancer and Neptune in Pisces are bringing nurturing empathy and love to help us in the Scorpio-Saturn stuff. This grand water trine is giving us the opportunity to become fully alive in our hearts. The feminine chalice inverted is the masculine blade. The blade and the chalice together is the seal of unity and balance. So many are saying this grand sextile is bringing the energy to balance the masculine and feminine principles. Why then am I calling it the Stargate to the sacred feminine? As the moon moves into Taurus, it will form a grand earth trine with Pluto in Capricorn and Venus in Virgo. So the grand sextile is created by a grand water trine representing the feminine heart brain of emotions and a grand earth trine representing the feminine body brain of senses. Let's take a look at the grand earth trine. Pluto is the planet of evolution. So its slow transit of Capricorn is bringing evolution to the Capricorn archetype, which surely needs it, because this feminine earth energy is being taught as the father, as the workforce, the provider. It's said to represent discipline and structure and finances, the rule maker, the project manager, and the lawgiver. And it's said to be represented by the sea goat. The sea goat? Really, the sea goat? What the hell is a sea goat? I'll be putting out a YouTube movie later that answers that question to address the current Uranus-Pluto square alignment. But for now, let me just say that Pluto is a very slow roller. Its evolution of the Capricorn principle started in January 2008 and will run until November 2024. What happened when Pluto entered Capricorn? The financial system started crumbling. Why? Because this debt-based system is not a product of natural harmony. And that's what Capricorn is about. Capricorn is not discipline, it is devotion. Capricorn is not structure and finances, it is not law and order. Well, not that kind of order anyway. Capricorn is this kind of order, natural order, the harmony of nature. Capricorn can be represented by the stone circle builders, those deeply connected to Earth, those with an innate understanding of the cycles of the seasons, the phases of the moon, the harmony of the heavenly spheres. Capricorn is not the father. It is better represented by the circle of grandmothers. The United States Letters of Confederacy were based on the Iroquois government, which had powerful men, yes, warriors and chiefs and shamans, but no important decision was passed without the approval of the circle of grandmothers. But who took them away? What has happened as we put too much emphasis on the father? What has happened to the founding fathers without the circle of grandmothers' feminine energy to keep them balanced? Big Brother is watching you. Well, Pluto is evolving Capricorn now to remind us that Big Mother is loving you. Venus in Virgo is the feminine principle, bringing love and grace to the archetype of the virgin priestess. Virgin did not used to mean chaste and celibate and untouched. A virgin was a woman who chose independence, who chose not to marry because she did not need a man by her side. And independence is very important right now. Perhaps a better word is undependence. As we feed ourselves and educate ourselves and gather together in intentional communities, we release ourselves from the fear and tyranny of the system. The moon rules Cancer, the archetype of emotional nurturing from the heart, and Taurus is the sign of love and grace, beauty, sensuality, intimacy as an art form. So the moon in Taurus is the vertex of the earth trine, where earth and water connect. But wait, there's more. As I mentioned earlier, there are 7 major planetary players in this grand sextile alignment. Mars, the masculine principle, is also in Cancer, the archetype of emotional nurturing. If you look closely at the chart, you'll see there are actually 3 grand trines. There is the grand water trine of Scorpio, Saturn, Pisces, Neptune, and Cancer, Jupiter. There is the grand earth trine of Capricorn, Pluto, Virgo, Venus, and Taurus, Moon. And there is a 3rd grand trine. Another grand water trine, this one between Mars and Cancer, Chiron and Pisces, and the North Lunar Node in Scorpio. Mars in Cancer brings the opportunity for our masculine half to open to the emotional nurturing of the heart brain. Chiron is the wise mentor and the shaman healer. Like Neptune in Pisces, Chiron in Pisces is expanding our spirituality and holding empathic space for our emotional healing. The North Lunar Node in an individual's chart points to the forward direction of soul growth. In the Grand Sextile, the North Node is suggesting our collective consciousness is ready to embrace the Scorpio archetype. I believe the seed that is being planted, the gift we will be given for journeying through the Stargate to the sacred feminine, is shown by the trine between two players outside of the Grand Sextile, a fire trine between the Sun in Leo and Uranus in Aries. We're not going to overcome this guy with guns or money. No, that's his world. But what about energy? Right now, that's his world too. But I think that's all going to change. Buckminster Fuller told us, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Uranus is the planet of revolution. Many people see Uranus in Aries, the archetype of the warrior, playing out as revolution in the streets. And indeed, some of that is happening today. But there's a different kind of revolution available to us. Nikola Tesla said all peoples everywhere should have free energy sources. Electric power is everywhere, present in unlimited quantities, and can drive the world's machinery without the need for coal, oil, or gas, and he proved it. In the 1920s, Tesla built a tower in Long Island that drew free energy from the earth, beamed it 26 miles through the air to another tower in Connecticut, which received that energy and put it into a local grid. The folks funding Tesla shut him down. They didn't want free energy. They wanted something they could put a meter on and charge us for, so we got Edison's highly inefficient wired system. But do you think they were dumb enough to do away with Tesla technology altogether? Or has it been developed somewhere underground since the 1920s? How many devices have been invented since then? And how many patents have been suppressed under the umbrella of national security? Security? Really? Wouldn't free energy make us more secure? Well, who wouldn't want that? Get hip to the patriarchy, Jack. Uranus is revolution. It is also the bringer of new paradigms and new technologies, and perhaps its harmonious, constructive, trine alignment to the Sun in Leo, the archetype of honor, of leadership, and sovereignty, is welcoming the coming of a new Prometheus, he who stole fire from the gods to bring light, warmth, and technology to mankind. This chart has no planets in the air signs of Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. So the mind brain is solely represented by the single planet which lies outside of trine relationship on this grand sextile chart. That is the planet Mercury. Mercury, Hermes himself, Mercury which represents the thinking function. Mercury, which recently ended retrograde motion in Cancer and now carries the Cancer archetype for the next 4 months. That's where the air meets the water, and it reminds me of two things. I'm reminded of Masaru Emoto, who showed the geometry of water molecules is shaped by human emotions, language, and consciousness. We are indeed co-creators of our reality. If we can shape a water molecule, we can shape the world. Why wait for the return of the Space Brothers or the winged serpent or the guy on the cross to save us? Let's save ourselves. Let's participate with the sextile Stargate to welcome a new freedom to our Earth. I'm also reminded of this guy, Ever wonder why the air sign Aquarius is the water bearer? The big book's man on the cross said, "A man will meet you carrying an earthen pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he goes in." Was he talking about the house of Aquarius? Was he talking about the age of Aquarius? Well, it's about to begin. The Sphinx of Giza is a cosmic clock. Its human face gazes due east, waiting to watch Aquarius, the human, rise with the vernal equinox sun as Leo, the lion, sets in the west. The dawning of Aquarius is no longer a subject reserved for songs and plays. We are entering a new age that is bringing us the power to co-create and escape from the cage. Let's step through the stargate to the sacred feminine to retrieve the strengths of heart and body. As we allow ourselves to return to the harmonious order of nature, as we celebrate our independence, as we express our sensuality and open our consciousness to the gifts of emotional nurturing, healing, spirituality, and visions, as we allow ourselves to really feel, we become holy. As we align our earth senses, our water emotions, and our air thoughts to our higher selves, we open the channel for spirit to deliver a new fire that can set us free. So join me in meditation and conscious co-creation. This Grand Sextile energy is seated today, but it won't go away. It isn't the first, it won't be the last, but it is a significant tumbler in the lock, and soon the cage will be a thing of the past. Find yourself where earth meets water, and welcome the return of your sacred feminine half. Let's do this. Let's become holy and access the fire that will set us free into the age of Aquarius. It is now highly feasible to take care of everybody on earth at a higher standard of living than any have ever known. It no longer has to be you or me. Selfishness is unnecessary. War is obsolete. It is a matter of converting our high technology from weaponry to livingry. Oh, and Big Mother is loving you. This is the Astrolonaut signing off. See ya in space.